Hello everyone. So, much like my weight loss videos, this video is going to be a little bit personal, a little bit more personal compared to the other videos I make. The reason I'm choosing now to make a video like this is because, well, from the time I'm recording this, which is August 23rd, 3 weeks from now, I turned 30. And that reality has me, I don't know, starting to uh, have an outlook on things that's a little different compared to years past. But it has to do with speedrunning. This isn't a retirement announcement, but it is sort of like announcing how I approach my work and my job and my speedrunning is going to be. I kind of want to and need to change it up a little bit. I'm not switching games or anything. I'm still going to keep Last of Us speedrunning at the forefront. But mentally, how I approach it, I'm going to change it a bit. So before I talk about specifics, let's go back to way back to the beginning. Around October 5th of 2014 is when I did my first ever speedrun. It was of Last of Us on Remastered. I had no equipment, so I used the streaming built into the PS4 to do my first live attempt. And speedrun.com didn't even exist, so it was a long time ago. And I got no viewers, you know. And I remember I must have gotten, it was on hard mode, I must have gotten like 3 hours 50, 3 hours 40 minutes or something. Eventually lowered it down to like 3.5, 326, I think, is the earliest YouTube video that I have. And I did that at first because it was new and exciting. It looked like fun. At the time, I had already been playing Last of Us for a really long time. And it just sort of became like, let me get to the cutscenes faster so I can watch them. And it just this feeling that there were some gameplay things I could be doing that were consistent and worked and got through areas faster. It was only after that I learned what speedrunning was. But yeah, that's pretty much how it all started. And then years and years and years later, just very small growth over time, but I managed to turn it into a career, which to this day I'm still so thankful for. Mainly because if I wasn't doing this, I don't have a backup plan. I didn't finish college. I don't want to finish college. It was a horrible experience. Besides my gaming stuff, I have no resume. This is, and it's really the only thing in life where I've put a lot of effort into it and I get a lot back. I feel like I didn't get that with anything else I could potentially be doing. So, yeah, I'm very, very lucky. But I've also put in a lot of hard work. And that work over what is almost a 9-year speedrunning career. October will be 9 years. Results in this. This is my speedrun.com page, and I want to go over, because we went on a bit of a grind recently to get certain times. Speedrun.com also underwent like a little bit of a change. It's a lot more customizable. So you can like pin your favorite run. When you're live, your live stream pops up here, but when you're not live, you can pin your favorite run that you've ever done on here. So of course I pick my 2:48 original Last of Us Grounded record, which is like my pride and joy record. And you can also like order the games that are from like your favorite to your least favorite or something. So that's what I've done. Let's just look over. This is basically my resume, if you will, as a full-time speedrunner. This is basically my resume. So, there are 7 categories in Last of Us 1, and we have all the records except for the any percent ones. Biggest reason for that is any percent is currently, as I'm speaking right now, undergoing a big transformation. New glitches are being found, which are cutting off, like, I haven't ran this in a while, but I know this category specifically, the new record's like a low 226, and like just a bunch of cool new stuff is being found. If you watched my recent Left Behind PS3 record with the quick turn glitch, you can do that as Joel, and you can put the camera out of bounds to unload areas and go almost wherever you want. It's being utilized in a lot of areas, so some cool stuff happening. But we have easy glitchless, no, hold on. They're kind of spread out here. We have easy glitchless and easy glitchless New Game Plus. We have Grounded Glitchless, my favorite. Grounded Glitchless New Game Plus and all collectibles. So we have the record for those. And then this is basically the original, but with permadeath rules. So Easy New Game Plus and Grounded. We got those. This one took a while, I remember, but we got it. Most recent one we got right here. Any percent PS3, any percent remastered. This is for Left Behind, the DLC. All collectibles, glitchless and grounded glitchless. These two are probably my favorite runs that I've ever done. Did really well there. Now, when it comes to the other games, Part 2, there's a lot of categories. So I really only devoted my time to the grounded ones because that's always what I prefer. So we have main game, full game. When it says main game, it's basically the full game. On grounded, without glitches. We did it for New Game and New Game Plus, and then the halves. LE New Game, LE New Game Plus, Abby New Game, and Abby New Game Plus. We have all the records for those. And then the remake on PS5. There was Grounded. We got the record for that. That's the one we ran the longest. We ran remake for like 8 straight months. And then I recently did a big grind of Left Behind. It was like a category per day. So we did the easiest difficulty and Grounded, and then all collectibles. And then also on PC, much like Part 2, there's just a lot of categories, so I decided to stick with just Grounded. And we got the record for this, and then we did permadeath for stuff. For Left Behind, I did Very Light and Grounded. For Left Behind Remake on PS5, we got the records for those, and then what is it? Yeah, Grounded on PC, we got the record for that, and then Grounded Permadeath for PS5, we got that as well. And then some miscellaneous runs that I did a long time ago, as you can see by the dates. Where am I? There you go. So that's kind of the result of my I guess speed running career. And it was and still is a lot of work. And again, I'm going to have a hard time exactly wording exactly what I'm trying to say. But basically, you know how you hear occasionally, like when someone's married to the job or something, or they just make work their only thing in life in their 20s or 30s so someone can have a good life in their 40s or something. That's kind of what I've done. I've devoted, again, because I'm so grateful of the opportunity that I have to be successful at something and entertain a lot of people, I put a lot of time and effort into basically what I just showed you, because that's over years and years of work. Some of the records may be recent, but there was still a lot of work that went into getting the times as low as they are. And it was a lot of work. And, you know, when I first started speedrunning, a lot of it was because it was new and exciting and just looked like something that was fun. As it sort of became a career and I was more interested in growth of a channel and stuff, it started to lose its magic a little bit. I still do it today because, well, it's my job, but it also fuels my competitive desires that I can't really get through sports anymore. I used to play sports, tennis and baseball. I was never great at them, but I still liked playing them. This is something, again, that I can put time into and get a lot back from. It fuels my competitive desires to want to be the best at something. But I would say recently, I've been speedrunning for a different reason than when I started. And I think that all started to happen when I started getting, like, real life benefits from partaking in this hobby. And I'm not talking about just going full time. I'm talking other things, like being, when I did ESA, I've done a couple GDQs. Of course, the big one right here, just a quick little screenshot. This still to this day is the coolest thing I ever did. Literally getting to play Last of Us, go to California and play Last of Us with one of my idols, Mr. Nolan North. I know this is over 3 years ago, but it's still the coolest thing to ever happen to me. And then, of course, a close second, first second, it's up there, getting to actually work with the developers at Naughty Dog on speedrun mode for the remake. And a lot of developers follow me on Twitter, as well as Neil Druckmann. And once I started to get like real life benefits from all the work that we've done in the various Last of Us games, I wouldn't say I developed an ego. Maybe I did a little bit, but my intentions with the hobby just kind of took on a different role. I started to become hyper obsessed about getting past a certain or hitting a certain number in a certain game. And I think business and career wise, it's been good for me, but, and this is kind of the whole point of the video, mentally, it's been draining. You know how I've been on a big weight loss journey and stuff. I think the reason it got so bad that I had to do that was because of the pressures that I put on myself. Because when I get into a category and a goal, I literally can't think or do anything else until I achieve it. And it's really just not beneficial for me to continue to do that. And again, I was kind of waiting until I turned 30 to make a video like this, but we just got finished with like a Left Behind grind on Remake and on PS3, so I figured I'd move up the date I was going to make this. And basically just say, like, you know, especially the grinds recently, I kind of did those Left Behind grinds where we got like one record per day on categories I'd never ran before, in a way to prove to myself that, like, yeah, you still got this. You're still good at this game, you know. But also, I kind of wanted that to be like the last mindless grind that I ever did. I mentioned that two of the categories that I'm like most proud of are my Left Behind glitchless categories, both on easy and grounded for the original Left Behind. And I can still remember it was February, either January or February of 2021. And I remember it was about 1 week per category. Oh my god, I was just like a blob. I had this mindset as I was getting those times, which were basically perfect runs, of this isn't as enjoyable as other things you've done. But if you just put in the time and the effort and just suffer through it right now, you don't ever have to do it again. And that's what I did, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that it cost me a lot of my sanity to get that category out of the way. And frankly, it shouldn't have to, you shouldn't approach it like, let me get it out of the way. You should do it because you want to do it. Again, I did it because I want those little first place trophies next to my name. Almost in the sense, in a way, over the past couple years, I've been like fooling myself or tricking myself into thinking, like, if you get this time and this record, then you're going to get another real life opportunity out of it. When that probably isn't really true. A part of it, I eventually need to be happy with what I've accomplished instead of constantly trying to accomplish more things in the hopes that I'll get some big opportunity out of it. You know, because at this point now, I'm not really mentally or physically benefiting much from that mindset. I should change it to where I do something that makes me happy, you know? Again, speedrunning still makes me happy. I still enjoy it. At its core, I wouldn't continue to do it if I didn't like it. But it's that super duper hyper obsessiveness over a certain time in a certain category to the point where I can't even be happy with a record anymore. That PS3 record I just got, I was only moderately pleased with it. There really wasn't an ounce in me that was like, you just got a new world record. It's the lowest time anyone has ever gotten in Left Behind, ever. It could go in the Guinness Book of World Records if they have a section for that. But all I was thinking of, the run could have been better. Run could have been a little better. 2 seconds better, maybe. And it's like that. I gotta stop at some point. Eventually, it's like, what more do I have to prove to myself? You saw that big list of records. I don't know how many exactly there are. I think it's actually, hold on, one moment, because I have like backup VODs in my files. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. I have, hold on. I have 27 world records. 27 world records. And, you know, eventually I have to hit a point where it's like, when are you going to be satisfied with the work that you've done and be proud of what you accomplished? Because if I continue doing what I'm doing, then I don't think I will ever get there. I will literally die just constantly trying to achieve perfection. And mentally, I'll never, ever get there. Because having records in a few categories is one thing. You know, before we had other Last of Us games to run, remastered is all we had. And my voice cracked. Remastered is all we had. And I would devote my time and effort to the category that I liked the most, grounded. But that long list of 27 world records and the 2 second place times that you saw, eventually they're going to be beaten. Maybe not all of them, but some/most of them. Unlike in the past, we have a very, very, very talented group of speedrunners that are working their asses off right now. You know, Uranto's my closest competition with the original game and Left Behind. Jokey's my closest competitor with Left Behind PS3. In part 2, you have a combination of Tio Minus, Shadow Days, O'Neural, who are... Tio could take my Ellie% records back anytime, pretty much any day right now. In Abby%, nobody's really running full game grounded, but in Abby%, there's a guy, Sylvie Steer, who's 18 seconds behind my grounded Abby% time. And in Remake, you have O'Neural, or Honoral. I never know how to pronounce names anymore. I'll still call him O'Neural. He's getting close with the PC grounded time as he's found a lot new restart checkpoints. Basically, there's a lot of other runners now. In the past, when I remember getting YouTube comments like, "It's easy to claim you have world record when you're the only one doing it." Yeah, he was trying to be mean, but I actually kind of agreed with that for a while. But as certain categories in games started to get more competitive, getting those records is hard. Maintaining them is even harder. Which is why I wanted to do this grind that I did recently. We got the Ellie% records back. Then we got all those console Left Behind remake records back, and then we did Left Behind. Basically, again, you can go back and look at it. The long list of records that we got, 27 of them, with 2 second place times as well. It's a list and a resume that I'm very, very proud of. But, and I can even say, in the past, when a record was beaten, I would actually, kind of get upset for a little while. And in hindsight, I don't really know why. I think maybe it was a blow to my confidence. Again, first of all, I want to say, again, the point of this video is, this is how I used to think. And still kind of do think a little bit, but I want to do away with it as I get a little older and want to start enjoying this hobby a little bit more than I have. What was I saying? Yeah, when someone takes a record back, I don't want it to be I don't want it to my initial reaction to be oh fuck, now I gotta go back and get the record back. It should be a cause of celebration for the person who did get the better time, because what I'm realizing more and more is it's not really the person who has the time, it's what the time is that matters the most. And it's just allowing myself to be okay with the fact that you're not the one with the record. And again, it's been years and years of just being hyper obsessed and focused on getting these times and hoping they stick. I guess because maybe somewhere down the line there's an opportunity coming my way. This guy has all the records. Let me collaborate with him or something. And it's like, it's not even the case. It's like, or I'll trick myself into thinking this way, or I'll trick myself into thinking like this is all anyone cares about when they think of AnthonyCaliber. You know, like he has the records, and it's like I don't think it really goes that deep. You know, it's to the point I start questioning, why do people like me again? Oh, it's because of all the records. I think if you ask my viewers, it's like, no, that's not the reason. It's foolish that you would think that we only like you for your records, but sometimes that's what I tell myself. So again, a part of like why like mentally sometimes I can get so just down in the dumps about never being satisfied with the work that I've done is because I think if I let a time slip or I don't accomplish something fast enough or something, it's like then it was all for nothing. I have like two ways of thinking. What are they? And again, I don't want to think this way anymore, which is kind of the whole point of the video. But I always had this thing where it's like, if you notice, I don't play many games. I got the consoles and the TV behind me, but I don't really play many games. And the reason is, every now and then, a person who's speedrunning Last of Us will switch games for a while and then come back, and then they'll tell me, God, I played this game for a while, and now I have to like relearn Last of Us controls because I got so used to that. If I want to get records and get them fast, I can't afford to get used to another game's controls. You know, I have to stick to what I know to accomplish what I want. And that's the big reason I rarely play other games. What I did the previous day and what I, like every day I stream the same game, I get better at it. Playing something else would throw a wrench into that. It's a big reason when I play Remake and Part 2, I don't play Factions. Because everyone's like, when's the last time you played Factions? It's been a while because we haven't played Remastered in like almost a year. So I don't want to get used to Remake or Part 2 and then play Factions where I temporarily get used to that game's controls. I come back and it's like, ugh, this feels worse. That's a big reason I don't play other games. And I had another example. Give me a second to think of it. Again, I know I'm like rambling about different topics and stuff. The whole, again, gist of the video is like, this is the way I've been thinking for quite a while, and I wanna change that. God damn it! I had a way of thinking. Hold on. But yeah, it also applies to just Last of Us games in general. If you notice, I don't really flip-flop between games like weekly or monthly. I usually stick with one goal in one category until I get what I want. There's no way I could be productive if I did Part 2 one week and then original Last of Us the next week and then remake after that. There's 0% chance I would accomplish anything. Now, I don't necessarily want to change that because I can give an insight to like what the future is going to look like a little bit. But so coming up next, I'm going back to Remastered and on Grounded, and I'm going to try and lower my 248/48. I'm actually really excited about that one. But what's a little discouraging is we haven't done it in a year. We've done Remake and Part 2 that whole time. So I'm going to have to get used to it again, relearn everything. There's some new strategies that can be implemented. And I'm actually very excited about it. And people have been asking me, like, why aren't you playing Part 2? When are you going back to Part 2? You know, we did the Ellie % grind recently, and I'm very happy we did because we found a lot of new strategies. Where I lowered my time in Ellie % by 2 minutes and 38 seconds, which can all be applied to when I do full game again. So that'll be hype. But I don't want to do part 2 again until the TV show comes out. The second season of the TV show comes out. Because the way I'm looking at it is, let's say I play part 2 for another year. Hypothetically, let's say I do. And then the TV show comes out shortly after that, or a remaster or something. What would be the point of accomplishing everything I wanted to accomplish, lowering times in all the categories that I want to run, and then the show comes out and I'm burnt out on it and then want to switch games? What would be the point? Let's save everything that we can accomplish for when the TV show comes out. When the second season of The Last of Us is going to be, once again, the hottest thing in media. The Last of Us TV show did very, very well viewership-wise, and I think reputation-wise as well, especially from people who didn't play the games. The same thing is going to happen to the second season. Maybe people will like it, maybe people won't like about it, but they will at least check out the game, and it will definitely be a strong topic of conversation. It will be extremely relevant, whether people end up liking it or not. So why waste all the things that we're able to do while it's not being aired? I want to save all of the record-getting and potential record-getting for when the second season is airing. And I know this whole has kind of been about, approaching speedrunning goals in an unhealthy way. I mean doing it in a healthy way. I'm not talking about certain times. Again, we discovered so many things in Ellie% that they can be applied to main game. Basically, if I wanted to get a new record in the main game, it would probably take me about a week. Because that's over 2 minutes of time saves, relearning Abby%, making sure Santa Barbara's good. If I wanted to, this very moment in time, I could lower the main game record by probably 2 or 3 minutes. But let's save it for when it's very, very relevant, shall we? That's kind of the plan with that. And Remake, we just finished an 8-month grind from the moment it released to the game. A week and a half from now turns 1, and we did about 8 or 9 straight months of Remake. So I don't want to do that. And it's been a while since I've done Remastered, and I've been thinking about it. I want to get back to it, but again, approaching it in a healthy way. And what I mean by in a healthy way is, I'll give you an example. This most recent grind was Left Behind Remake and Left Behind PS3. I fell into that mindset again of you have to have these records. You have to get good records. Just a first place placeholder isn't good enough. They have to be good records. And you have to get them quickly. And what I ended up doing was basically cutting myself off from the rest of the world. I ignored my physical health, my mental health. I ignored people. I basically approached it in the most unhealthy way possible because of this quest to achieve a reputation that I make up in my head. That was really it. And this was only just starting a week and a half ago. It's the mindset I've had for a while, but I especially did it the last week and a half. I didn't eat well. I didn't sleep well. I didn't even shower. I went about 6 days without showering. Stereotypical gamer right here. And it wasn't just the gaming. It was every single thing that benefits you or that is relevant in your life is put on hold until you finish the job. It's almost like I was punishing myself. And it's everything you've accomplished, everything you've wanted to accomplish, the reputation you want to have, it's when are you going to be satisfied? When is enough enough? And I think, again, 3 weeks from now I turn 30. I think now's good. I know I've done a lot of rambling. Again, I'm having a hard time organizing my thoughts with this, but I'm much more comfortable live streaming than making pre-recorded videos. But yeah, I want to start approaching this hobby and my job to where, first of all, I don't dread it. Sometimes I know I have such a tough task ahead of me that I will almost dread going live because I don't want to put my mind in that place again. But I feel like for the first time, again, you saw all those first place trophies. I can sit here and just take a big sigh of relief and just for the first time go, you know what? You did a good job. You should be proud of yourself. You did a good job. And you should still do what makes you happy. Like speedrunning Last of Us, even after all this time, still makes me happy. But myself constantly telling me you're no good unless you get this time today, it has to stop. It has to stop. And that's what I'm going to attempt to do. And I think partially in the past that was the reason why I put on so much weight. I ignored, and I may look a little heavier to you right now. Yeah, I fell back into that crappy mindset. What was the other thing I mentioned? Yes, I've forgotten, but this is what I wanted to say. I also fell into this mindset of the reason why I don't try out other things. I have this way of thinking that I don't want others to think, but I couldn't help but think this way, and that is, if you're going to attempt something, and when you're finished with it and you're on the other side of it, you're not the best in the world at it, then what's the point of even trying? Somewhere along the line, I convinced myself to think that way, and it's done nothing for me. It's resulted in speedrunning records. Yes, it has. But it's also prevented me from doing and trying other things. Yeah, again, right now I can't think specifically what those things are, but there are certain things career-wise that I don't take risks on. Basically changing content or, again, struggling to find specific examples. But again, it was, if you attempt something and by the end of it you're not the best in the world at it or you're not considered the best at it, then what's the point of trying? And that should never, especially in speedrunning, that should never, ever, ever, ever be the way you perceive things. Even in life, life's short. You got to try new things, And yeah, all these things I mentioned, the selfishness of record getting, constantly never being happy with anything that you've done and stuff, all it's done is just eat away at me mentally. And when I begin this next grind of Last of Us Remastered, I'm gonna be approaching it a little bit differently. Now I'm sure you're thinking, well, what are you going to change so that you don't constantly think these negative thoughts? And I think it's going to be maybe more full runs where it doesn't result in a record, but you still had a full run in, and then maybe we do something else afterwards. Maybe speed run a different game, maybe a playthrough, maybe the something I've never tried before, the marbles game on Twitch, where you hit exclamation point play and you race marbles on the tracks. I know that's kind of old now, but I've never personally tried it on stream, so it's like maybe we do something like that. No more of like the constant hours and hours of just mindlessly practicing areas. And although as I sit here, the mindlessly practicing stuff has resulted in a lot of... All right, so maybe we still resort to practicing areas because it usually results in something good. But just like... I've always hated the streams where it's like we can't get a run going. So then I just sit there miserable, angry... And just, those have never been fun for me. Maybe just saying, all right, today's not going to be the day, but we push through, just playing through the game anyway. Maybe something like that. Hopefully, again, because we are getting to a point where there is less and less to still accomplish. And I don't want to view that as like the end of my streaming and speedrunning career. It's not. Again, I still have standards for what I want to accomplish, but like I've been saying, it has to be approached in a healthier way going forward. There's this thing I read online occasionally where it's like, and it's really sad, but it's like, there was a point in your life where your parents picked you up and then put you down, and you didn't realize it was the last time that they did that. I'm like, and they're right. And sometimes I think it's like, you may not know it yet, but this may be the last record you get in this game and category, and you just don't know it yet. And the big example for me is like the category that I've done the most, remastered, grounded, my 248-48. I think I can beat it, I really do. But eventually it's like, what if you've gotten your last record and you just don't know it? So again, I could like keep trying and trying to lower it and lower it as I get older and older. But eventually, I think I just need to continue to run it because I enjoy it and others enjoy it. And just be happy with what you've done so far. Because we've been doing this for a long time. We have been doing this for a long time, and I still want to do this for a long time. What keeps me kind of excited is the fact that, and I'm sure you all know, Naughty Dog has been pretty inactive right now with news and updates and stuff. But I think they're going to make up for it with just some crazy cool announcements. Be a new IP, maybe a Last of Us 3, maybe another Uncharted. I don't know. Their multiplayer. It feels like they're working on a lot of cool stuff. So while things may be very dry right now, I'm very excited about what they have cooking up. Because even I am getting that feeling like it's been a while since they've excited us with something. You know? But the potential for content and collaborations and just having fun with it all, that keeps me excited. That keeps me energetic, keeps me enthusiastic about continuing the work that I do. So yeah, again, a lot of rambling. I didn't really have a clear path or direction with this video. Basically, 3 weeks from now I turn 30, which frightens me just a teeny tiny bit. I still feel the same. It doesn't really bother me that much. But yeah, in my 30s and starting soon, everything I mentioned about the way I used to think just has to stop. Has to. And the reason I'm openly, actively talking about it is because I view it as a problem very similar to my weight issues. You know, I would get into this mindset where I stop caring and I resort to food to feel better or something. And even with the stuff with the speed running, where I just get into this mindset of like perfect record or bust. When I don't get it, I like mentally relapse even further compared to if I treated it more casually or something. Because again, I'm probably repeating it right now, but like 27 records, 2 second place times in a lot of the difficult categories. Eventually, I have to be happy with it. And not if, but when a time gets beaten, that isn't a reflection on yourself that it wasn't good enough. You know? I think that's the important one. Getting a record is getting a record, but maintaining them is difficult. And just because one falls, that does not mean it's a weak reflection on you. And that's, again, part of this is going to be a work in progress. I don't think this is going to be an overnight thing because I got to tell you, when I do continue a bad run, I don't necessarily enjoy it. But those runs where I put up a decent time that isn't a record, but if it wasn't for like 1, 2, or 3 areas, it would have been record. I still get a lot out of those. But yeah, I hope I can find the balance of treating this a little bit more positively and maybe okay with a stream not resulting in a record, but still keeping everybody entertained. Because I also feel like my adoring public, my viewers and fans that love watching me speedrun, where was I going with this? I hope that I can still be entertaining, and you are all okay with maybe not getting a record for a while. Because I would like to, when I get in these bad moods and these bad fits, sometimes I feel like I take out the negative energy on my viewers or something. When they ask me a question, I'm just not in the mood to answer, and I like lash out a little bit. I did that a lot with the most recent grind, where it's like I was up for 10 hours and I was cranky. And I would take it out on viewers, and it's like maybe you should focus. Again, this is sort of what I'm transitioning into. Maybe you should focus on being more of an entertaining streamer instead of being a perfectionist speedrunner. If I that's kind of what I'll end this video with. Over time, I'm going to try and transition into being more of an entertaining streamer than a perfectionist speedrunner. And Last of Us speedruns are still going to be at the forefront because I do still enjoy them. I wouldn't do them if I didn't enjoy them. But, yeah. I did a lot of talking. Hopefully some of this stuck with you. And, yeah, that's about it. Again, I feel more comfortable doing live stuff. It's so interesting when I see some people either more comfortable with live streaming than they are with pre-recorded stuff. One of my favorite YouTubers is Scott the Woz. I love his videos. I love them. He's actually stated he's not comfortable. He doesn't live stream. He's not comfortable doing live streaming. But he's so funny and natural when he's doing pre-recorded stuff in front of a camera and like B-roll stuff. He's very, very talented, but he even said he's very uncomfortable doing the live streaming stuff. And I'm the exact opposite. I like doing the live streaming stuff and just improvising with something to say based off of what someone said on chat or something. But making videos like this, I have a hard time organizing my thoughts a little bit and just prefer the whole live streaming thing. So if I feel like I repeated something or I'm struggling or stuttering to think of something or what I wanted to say, that's kind of why. And why I don't make videos like this more often. Live streaming is where my preference is. But, yeah. That's about it. Look for a bit of a change in attitude and how I approach my career going forward. But still with Last of Us speedrunning being the priority. Still. Alright, thanks for listening, and hope you understand. And I will see you guys on Twitch. Bye.